Okay, everybody, welcome to the Eternal Conflict qualifier number 1. So it's pretty simple how the tournament structure works here. This is a tournament hosted by the Raven Court. We have a best of 5 series currently between Lore Refreshments and the Enjoyers. We are in the first round and we have 6 teams that are signed up for this particular qualifier. So the structure of the tournament is actually fairly simple. We have 3 qualification tournaments. Teams can participate in as many of those as they want and they gather points along the way. And then the top teams will go to the end of season final. So it's basically like a final tournament, like a playoff tournament that people are trying to qualify for. And there's going to be the majority of the prize money. As I said, this is all hosted by the Raven Court here. We're currently in our first series. This is the first qualifier. And we'll see how the teams are going to do here. So at this point, we got the Lore Refreshments over on the left side. And we got the Enjoyers over towards the right. And this is actually one of the reasons why I really wanted to cast this game too. Because we got the Enjoyers back. And that's always sweet. So the Polish team. Jarek J is, by the way, Richu, who's currently playing on a Smurf account. Just as a bit of a side note. And it's kind of funny for me as well, because I just finished casting some of the Division 1 matches. Their season obviously started too. Teams are very different, but you can already see that some of the players that we have on both sides are also participating there. So there is a lot of mixing, and it's going to be pretty cool to see how they're now performing in this tournament. This tournament will be with us for a couple of weeks for sure. I'm going to try and cover as much of it as I can. Qualifier number 2, I'm not so certain yet that I can actually cover it because I'm going to be in Canada at the time for March of Giants Summit. I talked about it a little bit already on the YouTube channel, so you probably heard about it. If not, it's going to be a summit for 1 week talking about the new developments in March of Giants, meeting the developers in Canada and Montreal, and just generally getting a bit of an idea what the development is looking like and what their roadmap is at this point. So I will miss 1 tournament, but if I have the time, I will catch the most important matches of it after the fact via replays and then at least upload them to YouTube. So that's currently the game plan, at least for the 3rd qualifier, and for the finals then I'm going to be ready though, and we'll cover that live as well on Twitch. So we got Johanna and Junkrat to be logged in early. To my knowledge, there are no draft restrictions, by the way, in this tournament. So you can play heroes as many times as you want. It's just totally vanilla drafting with no restrictions. So we're mixing it up a little bit. Tournaments that I myself host, of course, have always some special rules to it to make it more interesting for the audience. And oftentimes, as with the Murky Cup, also monetary incentive to just like show players, hey, if you're playing some crazy stuff, you can dip into a bigger prize pool. But this is a completely vanilla tournament where teams are just going for whichever composition they think is the best for that specific map. And we'll see how that is going to change things. By now we have Maiev, Urel and Rhaegar taken on the side of the Polish team. On the ban side, even Abatha has now been eliminated, which is always a sad moment. And we get Diva plus Anduin for the blue team. So we have the front line already established. We got Jojo, we got Diva there. Personally, I'm still kind of intrigued to see what we're getting as the main tank, and it's actually Arthur's. That is happening a bit more often lately, and I am all for it. I love to see more Arthur's main tank, so it would be cool if this would actually become a thing, and not only the occasional, let's see if we can pull it off pick. Gul'dan together with it, so we got a double orc play on the side of the red team. The Polish team in national colors, essentially. And our final pick for the boys and girls in blue over here. As we're getting the Lore Refreshments. Interesting name as well, by the way. I'm not quite sure if all of their compositions are going to be lore adequate, but I guess we'll see. Be it as it may, Dragonshy is our first map in the best of 5. The final pick is Phoenix. Okay, unexpected, but certainly welcome. And with that, we're moving into game number 1 of the best of 5 series. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Lore Refreshments against the Enjoyers. First map in the best of 5 series, and on the left side, ladies and gentlemen, we have Cotilli on Diva, Halcyon on Jojo with a Master Dwarf on Junkrat. We get Cloudus Troy on Phoenix and Patapon on Anduin. Towards the right side of the map, the Enjoyers in red with Birdshoe on Maiev, Xardas on Arthas, we have Bronick on Rhaegar, Richu with the account Jarek J on Urel, and then Alvaros on Gul'dan. I'm actually not quite certain why exactly the blue team is called the Lore Refreshments. Because I just casted some of their games in Division 1 of Heroes Lounge, and I don't think there's too many changes to the lineup there. Maybe it's enough to justify a new name, but I certainly expected them to sign up with their original one. But so we don't quite have the consistency there. They are, I would assume, the underdogs here. The red team, I don't quite know on... I mean, honestly, I'm not quite sure how much they're playing exactly all of them right now, but this is obviously a team with a lot of hard-hitting names. Bronek, Alvaros, a lot of guys that you've seen in plenty of tournaments here before, and they have certainly an experience advantage over their opponents in blue. So they're the favorites for this series, I would assume, and well, we'll see what they're going to be able to pull off here. Always fun to see the enjoyers, and they were always one of those teams that were trying to break into the top 3, and in certain tournaments even did, but weren't just able to hold that in perpetuity. So now we get Jojo with Laws of Hope as well on level 1, but look at the attack at the bottom of the map. I mean, with the help of Gul'dan, for example, he went straight into his Echoed Corruption. We're already getting big value right here. Arthas is working the stacks in on the baseline, trying to get the Howling Blast connects, and they leave that entire wall in tatters with that attack. There's a Phoenix flank though, that might be a bit too much for them to handle. So far they're still dealing with it. Here comes again Gul'dan, they go for Anduin, and he's gone. Anduin eliminated, that's first blood, first hero to be taken out here. And now the move for Phoenix, but Arthas? Xardas a little bit too aggressive. Rhaegar is now trying to get back to safety too after he got pooped around a little bit. And what do you know? It's a double control on the Dragonite temples for the blue team, and they grab it in the middle. Nice! D.Va at the top buying herself just enough time to allow Jojo to grab the Dragonite in the middle of the map. So this is a good start for them. Get the first objective. Usually not that powerful, but hey, will still help you to take a couple of minion waves and maybe a wall or two down. Kind of surprising that they are rotating towards the top with it immediately, but it's already working quite nicely here. So take that tower down, occupy your opponent's forces as best as you can, and then at the bottom of the map we still have the attack with the rest of the team as Arthas keeps stacking his baseline. And we have especially Gul'dan, of course, trying to get stacks in so that he gets his synergy with this level 16 talent later on. DK number 1, wall is down, and now just working the Dragon Breaths in. As we have the focus of attention shift towards the mid lane a bit more here. Tilly on D.Va boosting out, in trouble for just a moment. As we have Birchu still looking for the next tether target. The triple front line that they are running can be absolutely devastating, so this could get brutal in the later stages of the game. Upside, Ritual is going to be completely fine here, but they have of course taken some damage. It was a nice little play sneaking the objective in the way that they did, but now the red team is trying to get aggressive on that camp, looking for a kill or maybe to steal the camp away. They might get Yrel here, she barely gets out. D.Va is boosting for Maiev though, who escapes just on the skin of their teeth, and then we have the camp stolen by the Lore Refreshments. Yeah, the Lore is hitting hard today. Very hard. It's actually real sweet what they just did here. Not only did they get the Dragonite, but they also stole one of the mercenary camps away. They have a leading experience, and they're not looking too shabby. Jojo, with all her roaming, is now at 13 stacks on their level 1 talent, so she is going to proceed to become a bit more independent from Anduin as a healer, which is always a good thing. Top side, okay, Yrel is also in real trouble against D.Va. That is starting to become a bit of a problem here. That fort has already taken significant amounts of damage. Now the siege giants are taken down here. Arthas still trying to get a few more hits in, maybe also with the trade. Howling Blast stacks up to 9 at this point. But Arthas has to be careful. Once that he is in full force later on, he's definitely going to be pretty rough in these team fights and will control them to walk them down as best as they can. But currently, just not there yet. 10 stacks on level 1 as we speak. But I mean, with this one in particular, it's quite nice after you hit 15, so that you get also the blast range increase and you are getting the path increase. But we have at the same time then on 30 the additional slow on the death coil. So if you are able to get all of that together, he is just a CC machine in general. And this is going to work well also with the level 4 synergy. Just tee up a couple of kills for the team. With the shrines now back up, we are again looking at the blue team eagerly trying to get the double control. At the top lane, they are successful with the 2v1 that they're running there. Down at the bottom of the map, the story is a bit different though. Down here, we have the Enjoyers in a situation where they are in control of the shrine and are trying to push for that fort as best as they can. Jojo, by the way, nearly at 20 right now, so this is going to be pretty sweet. It's a 30% increase on the heal, so it's a big one right there. Halcyon has to be very careful though. I mean, as much self-heal as Jojo will have eventually, she's still at the front line and gets focused first. Now level 10 abilities are available. A little bit of catch up for the red team that's still needed over here. Oh, yeah, he takes the Riptide out. That would have been a sweet little combo. First, you just burn him down with the Planet Cracker, and then you get the Riptide kill. It's wild to me they were getting Planet Cracker in the first place. They're gonna try and get that together with Bunny Hop, I suppose, then later on in some of those fights. But yeah, some interesting battles that are already unfolding here, with the red team now using the camp that they just took at the bottom of the map to push aggressively for the fort. And since Phoenix is, for example, going for a camp at this moment in time, that fort is gone. That is way too much for the refreshments to handle. You have the mercenaries in, the minion wave with the Inspire buff, and then half the team is going for it. So yeah, nicely done. In comes Jojo, Light Bomb, good stun. They take Gul'dan out, but Junkrat died too, so each team losing one of their damage dealers. Urel is not with them, by the way. It's a 3 versus 4, as Urel is still sitting topside. She's actually going to go for the Dragon Knight here, and will be able to grab it. That DK is up and taken. Arthur's likely to fall, Maiev dies as well, but at a minimum they were able to get the DK. And honestly, Urel knows completely that she's not going to be in a position to do serious damage. This was more a deny pick than anything else. They knew that team fight would turn against them, so what they are doing instead is just using the Dragon Knight for some wave clear up at the top. And that worked out so far. And if nobody shows up, then, well, might as well go for a bit of damage on that wall. But the goal was essentially just to ensure that the blue team wouldn't get a Dragon Knight. Now they are pinning down the forces at the top. That's 4 heroes that are currently sitting here. And I guess they're basically getting the entire wall. Another Dragon's Breath to burn that minion wave down. Hammering away tower number 2. And getting the gate as well. So this is actually nice value for the Dragon Knight. Considering that at the time when he was picked, there were only 2 heroes on the map. Well, they killed 3. 4 kills to 3 in total. But that definitely helped a little bit. Now, in the middle, the attacks are still raging on. We have Arthur's with 12 stacks now. So it is closing in on his next quest reward. And is, of course, also still stacking the base. Getting those baseline stacks, still pretty important too. So, yeah, you get your attack damage slowly and steadily increased. 45 as we speak. But he's going to need a lot more if he really wants to have a big impact on the damage department later on too. It's not really his role. Again, he's a CC machine. He just sets the team up. He controls the space. We'll see if he can do more than that. So, for the time being, we have still some wave clear down at the bottom of the map. Top side with D.Va pushing with the help of a camp, or trying to. As a counter camp for the red team, but it's a 3-4 versus 2. And I don't envy my F here. That's not going to be a good outcome for her. She gets hit by a blessed shield and then gets murdered by Jojo. Now they're trying for Urel, who has to pop her ult. The reinforcements are coming, but they're coming a bit too late. Junkrat is not with the blue team though, so at this point it's even numbers. And Arthur's is moving in again. Drops the army. We definitely get some additional trade value here from the looks of it. And maybe a few more Howling Blast stacks. Taps the fountain. Good for the defense. Difficult for the blue team to fight into this right now. And Arthur's is going to get another hit. Well, just the death coil for now. But at 18 stacks, again, roughly 54 additional damage that he currently has. So the auto attacks, they will start to hurt a little bit, but it's not like he's a massive auto. It would be kind of fun, by the way, to get like some kind of Arthur's build, you know, where he just like fully specs into his baseline, and then you pair that with Morales and get a stim drone on Arthur's. I would honestly love to see that just for the memes. Give him some support too with additional auto attack tools so that he can in the late game just go ham on the opponent, pretty much just copying Varian with meme blades. If you get enough stacks together, you might actually have something here. It could be pretty fun. And I mean, again, if we've already covered one thing recently, it's that the janitor of Blizzard that's still working on the game is definitely listen to the broadcast here. Because, well, we now have a Slabitha on the PTR. We get a Slabitha quest. So now Abatha can finally go in and slap people as he's designed to do. Clearly an idea taken from us. Same also with them bringing back Haunted Mines. And, yeah. More ideas. Give me a build for Arthas where he... I could totally see some kind of build for Arthas where they follow a similar logic to what they did with Varian. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about Varian, you have Varian now in a situation where everybody is supposed to play him with Taunt because he's just the main tank. But the core concept behind giving him something like Meme Blades is to take away some of his tankiness and put it to a point where he becomes a bruiser, right? And it doesn't really work out the way that they want. The idea behind it I actually kind of like. And I think if they would tweak the numbers a little bit, or maybe utility, that could be interesting. But if they would do something similar with Arthas, I would absolutely love that. Give him a stack quest on this or two, and then we'll see of what he can actually do here. So, the core concept behind it, I kind of like it. Would love to see that. But, yeah, time will tell. Camps are currently still being claimed. We have at the bottom of the map now one mercenary camp traveling through, but the blue team is eager to take down the fort in the middle. Might have so far the top damage dealer in the game with 23,000, well, on the red team side. For the blue team, we still have, of course, our boy Phoenix here with 33,000. Even the Riptire plays cannot come up with that, but Phoenix is dead, and look at Anduin! Arthas is essentially walking him to his grave, hacks him down, and absolutely wrecks him. Nicely done. Jojo, she's at 30 stacks, so on her level 1. So that's by now, what is this, 25% of extra healing. Nice, neat little boost that she gets there. But the red team is the one that is currently making the big plays. And they were also able to get themselves the next Dragonite, so that should cost 1 or 2 forts on the side of the lower refreshments. I mean, this one is getting murdered quickly. I mean, really, really quickly. Top side, they're trying to go for D.Va. D.Va, the pilot is gone. The pilot should be gone. There's the disc. Rhaegar with a self-ancestral and gets taken down before it hits. Ah, the cracker kill! Nice! Brrr, and gone. So that was actually pretty cool. Gul'dan was completely popped by Phoenix here. Check this out again. First he kicks him away, then they're all low as Jojo completes her quest, and then Gul'dan comes in, just says, yeah, well, I got this. And Phoenix is like, nope. Nope. Not the case. And just burns him down. Really nice kills here. Love it. Absolutely love it. 37 stacks for Gul'dan. Now he doesn't have the full synergy thanks to the quest reward on level 1 yet, but he only needs 3 stacks until he's there. It's an interesting game actually. I really had the red team packed as a bigger favorite than what we're seeing right now. So with 7 kills to 5, it's currently the lower refreshments that have the upper hand in kills. They're still a bit behind in experience, and they have of course lost some of their structures. But generally speaking, this is a pretty even game, so very pleased with that. Jojo, she is really picking up an insane amount of heal. At this point, she has 40% heal on that talent. That is nuts. That's a huge boost, and it makes Anduin's life so much easier. So taking down Johanna, not easy. She can go for that full heal, and then of course you have to wait that out too, so that's another one that you have to deal with. On the cooldown side, of course, 40 seconds, that's still something. But, yeah. It would be even better if this was like an insta-heal. It's like a heal over time, over 5 seconds. But imagine that working like a potion. And then just getting the instant heal there. That's basically an insta-ancestral, depending on how far you can stack it. But those are some good numbers for Halcyon. So Jojo is becoming an absolute monster here. Especially, of course, with a completed level 4 quest. I mean, that in and of itself is already great. More locks from Arthas. Nice. Job well done. And Arthas, he is really doing a lot now with all the control that he's bringing. Another Howling Blast. He's nearly done with the quest, by the way. So then he has a slow also on his Death Coil. But they get Anduin. And Arthas is now also at 27 stacks. He's 1 stack away from completing his level 1 quest. Arthas is really in the thick of things right now. And they're killing nearly in the entire team here. And Phoenix is trying to get away. And they're absolutely wrecking this. But Arthas is now doing nearly 80 extra damage with every single attack that he hits. And his damage output is at 36. So he's higher than Gul'dan currently. Which is pretty impressive. So Arthas with a huge impact now, and we're only 14 minutes into this game. They just took out the last 4 out of the blue team. But they are certainly becoming mad dangerous here. And Xardas is now taking the Dragonite again for the team, so they're of course trying for the first keep here. At the bottom of the map we have Maiev sitting tight and going for the next camp. Arthas will, as I said, soon get the slow on his Death Coil too, so that adds even more to him being such a CC machine. You have Gul'dan with a completed quest reward, not the mythic reward, but again he has now his first reward here, and this is going to be really nice with the rest of the tools. The fact that they hold a level 20 talent over the blue team is emphasizing all of this even further, and they are going to try potentially to go for the core here. We got the Legion of Northrend now as well, and at this point we have the disc out. They're still surviving, but they're going to lose that keep. That one you can't save. The keep at a minimum is going to go down. They were posturing for just a second, maybe indicating that they could make a play for the core, but they're all just falling back. I'm honestly expecting them to move towards the middle and try and take that wall out, and I guess Arthas on the Dragonite is the only one that is at least trying to get some Dragon's Breaths in. But there's Gul'dan. He's obviously a monster when it comes to structural damage now, with that level 16 talent and his level 1 quest reward. So yeah, if they can just unleash that corruption, they're going to get lots of value here. Level 20 on both sides, and that gives us a Planet Cracker upgrade, the Armageddon Beam. Oh yeah, cooldown reduction as well. Where's the beam when you need it? I'm waiting for it. Big value, and Alvarez ran straight into it, dropped the Horrify. They're getting Diva, and Arthas with a completed quest, now moving in a bit deeper, but has to be very careful since he is rather low at this point. Picked up a few more stacks also on his baseline, so that's good news. But yeah, we're certainly in for an absolute highlight here. I like it. That was a cool first game. It's a really nice opener into the series now. And keep in mind, this is a best of 5. So at this point, it's all about the numbers here. We're having Arthas on 44,000. So as I said before, he's always in the top numbers for the team. They're all on very even numbers, by the way. Gul'dan is slowly now starting to pull ahead now that he has a lot more synergy unleashed with his talents and rewards. On the other side, we have Phoenix surpassed by Junkrat, who's sitting at 53,000. But Phoenix is, of course, still getting some value. Has the beam already back up, and could definitely start to YOLO that out a little bit more aggressively. Cooldown reduction always makes that possible. But the Shrine is now coming up. Arthas with another quick hit in the middle. So he's now sitting at 30 on his baseline, and I'm telling you, the longer this game goes, the more stacks he gets, the more of the problem this is going to be. And this isn't even like an auto-attack build or anything of the sorts. But I still want to see that. I want to see a few more talents that would support this. I want to see some synergies with other heroes. It's more of a meme build. It's not really something that is necessarily unleashing his full strength. But it would still be fun to see him as a total damage monster with a heavy focus on auto-attacks. But they're also throwing him into the Dragonite the entire time. And that's honestly a little bit sad, because that means he can't stack. Jojo, talking about stacking, she's at 50 stacks now, meaning 55% heal for Halcyon. Makes him incredibly difficult to kill. That Dragonite means business though. They're moving into the middle, they want keeps here. The keep at the bottom of the map has already been destroyed. Now they're going for number 2. Could have tried to go maybe directly for the core, but they certainly seemed like they weren't quite confident enough to make that move. And the Dragon Knight, to be fair, gets taken out pretty quickly. Look at that beam, though. Woo! And that's a double kill. Gul'dan and Rhaegar both dead. Gul'dan and Rhaegar both eliminated. And those were some important kills here. And now they're chasing the rest of the team. Arthas is on the run. And that's always been his weakness. Him trying to get away. Mobility is not his strength. So Arthas gets hunted down too and dies. And this should now really be the moment where we are going to get some big value for the blue team. I mean, if not now, then when, right? So this is the opportunity to say, let's go, boys, and see what we can pull off. Take a couple of structures out and, yeah, get the value there. Let's see what they can do. They need to deal with the catapults, certainly, that are currently coming towards the core. I mean, that core is losing hit points. But they're getting nothing here. I need them to at least take one fort out. You have basically access to the fort in the middle and the fort at the bottom of the map. They lost 18% on their core because of the catapults that pushed in. But after them getting this many kills, they need to get a little bit of headway on the map. And all that they were able to do so far is take out one single fort. I mean, it's better than nothing. But actually, they're not even able to save this one. Boys, come on! The minions! There we go. Calculated. All calculated. Yep, absolutely calculated. The big beam again, but this time without a kill. This time there was no kill in the cards just yet. There's the Horrify. Oh my god, beautiful. What a fantastic Horrify. And that cost them a lot. A triple kill to lead us off with one counter kill at least. But that Horrify was absolutely glorious. That's exactly what they needed here. Now they're going to be able to go for Diva too. But yeah, that was great. What a fantastic play. Check this one out. Look at this. Howling Blast, Horrify, everybody on Arthas. Then you have his Aura too. There was so much that came together for the red team. That was perfect. 13 kills to 11. And now the move straight towards the core. 64,000 damage for Gul'dan. Got 75,000 for Junkrat. And yep, they're looking really good here as they're making their way towards a victory in game number 1. The best of 5 series is starting off with a W for the red team as the Enjoyers, as the Polish team, is able to take the win on Dragonshire. Nicely done, GG, and well played. Alright everybody, I hope that you enjoyed the first map of the series. We're going to jump into the second one in just a moment. But a quick reminder that in Heroes Esports we're heavily reliant on support and also partnerships since Blizzard has abandoned the esports scene a long time ago. Now one of the partnerships that we currently have going on is with Raid Shadow Legends. Might have heard of the game already. I've been playing it now for 5-6 years and I really like it as my time killer game that I play on the side on my phone mostly. If you want to support the channel, all you gotta do to support it for free is to check out the description of the video. There's a link in there that you can sign up for the game. You can play it a little bit. It also gives you a bunch of free champions that I actually personally selected. So all of them are absolute S tier for the early game in Raid Shadow Legends and will allow you to basically kind of skip the early game. So if you guys are interested in supporting either the channel or check the game out for yourself, this is something that you can do pretty easily and quite quickly also for completely free. Would help us out a lot. So if you could take a few minutes of your time in order to do that, that would be absolutely awesome. So thanks in advance, everybody, and enjoy the second game of the series. Towers of Doom, map number 2. So the Enjoyers were able to win it at the end. Vikings ban. If a map starts with a Vikings ban, then this is just mean. This is just extremely mean. This is always, you know, they're dangling the possibility that we would have actually gotten the Vikings game in our face, and then that happens. So we are going to Towers of Doom for the second map. Again, no draft restrictions in this, so keep that in mind. We have Hogger banned out now too. But let's see what the Polish team is going to do here. This should actually gonna be fun. And if the blue team can fight back. So they had one guy that swapped his account, Perfy, I think. He's Cookie, because apparently he doesn't really own enough heroes on one account, something of those sorts, if I read that correctly. We still have on the... actually, Richu actually got his main account in now as well. I talked in game number 1 a bit about how he had an alternate account. He was a little bit late, just jumped on that account, and now he came in with his actual account. So if there's a little bit of confusion right now, that is basically why. But yeah, with Towers of Doom, I would expect that we're going to get very different drafts right now. Globals could also play a huge role, of course, because when you get your Dehaka at the top lane, or maybe even just a Falstad play on Towers of Doom, you can get mad value out of this. So, yeah. But with that, we get Anduin as a quick first pick. We already used him in the last round. And then Johanna gets taken away. She was a monster on the last map. We're not really in damage or anything, but just absolutely unkillable. And with a completed level 4 quest, also a machine in these team fights. In addition to that, we're now getting Blaze for the Richu. So Jojo Blaze, that was always a really nice duo to have. And here comes the Medivh. Okay, Medivh combo. If I'm not mistaken, I referenced earlier that I commentated a game of the team, or of most of the players on the team, in Division 1 just a couple of days ago, and they played Medivh too. Cloud Destroy actually played Medivh there as well. And if I'm not mistaken, they won that one. So we'll see how well they can perform here. For the team, it would be nice to, of course, take now a point so that they're getting a bit closer to a potential victory. If they're 0-2, it's always difficult to recover. And now that Medivh has been taken, you want to ban out Stitches. Again, one of the most dangerous things is if you have Stitches, Medivh on the same side. What tends to happen is Stitches hooks, Gorge, and then bam, there's the portal, and all of a sudden, whichever hero got caught is gone. And you will have a tough time recovering them. So Stitches gets banned out as a result of that Medivh pick. They get rid of Falstad too. Anything that has portal control is now a bit annoying for the blue team. And that includes Malfurion, for example, with a root on the ground. Stukov, similar. That portal pops out, you get a lurking arm going. You can do the same thing also with a few other picks, of course. I mean, the ETC oftentimes gets played in that account. But yeah, there's Malfurion, for example, taken right away. So that was an easy one for them to lock in. We got Bronick on Cassia. And there's lots of blinds that they're running here too. Not that they're aiming for the blinds, it's just something that the heroes come with in addition to that. But imagine like drafting a heavy auto attacker into this, it certainly wouldn't make his life any easier. But yeah, Towers of Doom, very different story when we're talking about maps. So let's see what we're gonna get on their side. We get Urel and we get Greymane. Greymane in the house. And that is essentially already the draft, meaning that we have, for now, Urel, Leo at the front line. So we are going to see a Leo main tank, basically. So you're drawing attention, you're fine dying as long as you're trading properly. But that's quite a statement to make here. They did that before with Medivh, so he's then providing the shields too. So this is something that the team apparently really likes to pull off as one of their more standard combos and that they have good results with. But they're going up against a very experienced team and we'll see what they can do against them. Here comes Sergeant Hammer. We'll see if they can protect the Hammer, or those portal plays are going to be a bit too much. Towers of Doom, map number 2 in the best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Map number 2, the Enjoyers in the lead right now with the lore refreshments. Over on the left side, the blue team with Tilly on Urel. We got Master Dwarf on Greymane. Cloud Destroy, as mentioned before, he's the Medivh player for the team, with Halcyon now on Leo, Austin's Renewal on level 1. We get Perfy on Anduin, and over on the right side of the map, it is the Enjoyers, with Virtue on Jojo. Xardas is playing Malfurion for the team. That's also an interesting swap from Arthas over to Malfurion. Alvaros and Sergeant Hammer, Richu to Blaze, and Bronick is playing Cassia with a stack build. So, yeah, certainly a couple of interesting swaps that we have from the team here. No doubt about that. Should be some fun plays that we're going to get. But down at the bottom of the map, they are immediately starting to go for a kill attempt on Sergeant Hammer. And I think this is something that we're going to see a little bit more throughout this game, that they're aiming for Sergeant Hammer with portal rotations, for example. And then it becomes a question of how well can the red team protect her. That's of course also part where a lot of those blinds that we're now seeing could help out. So yeah, we'll see. But Sergeant Hammer is going to be nice, sieging up on bell towers. And once that you get bell tower control of one of your opponent's structures, you can defend very, very easily with Sergeant Hammer and make sure that they are not going to get in easy recapture on any of those. Medivh, of course, also trying to stack up his level 1, and so far, pretty good progress in the early game. There's 8 stacks together already, but here comes Jojo. They're trying to flank in. Talk about flanking. Greymane attempting to be aggressive. Gets a shield, though, from Medivh, which was very much needed. And Medivh himself, bit too far forward there. He got quite aggressive and moved towards the front line to get in range for him to drop another one of those hits, and that did not work out the way that they intended, I think. So as things stand right now, we're having the quick attack coming through Sergeant Hammer, sieging up at that wall. No mobility, obviously. I mean, we're far from level 7 at this point, but they can certainly already try and help her out at least a bit. Up at the top, our 1v1 lane between Urel and Blaze is what we're getting there. And Master Dwarf is jumping in pretty aggressively with Greymane. It's going to be the job description from here on out. 17 stacks for Medivh. 11 stacks, 13 already for Cassia. Not bad, girl. So Bronek is getting good numbers in very early on. Let's see if he can keep that up. As long as they're willing to brawl, it's going to be a fairly easy task for him, I guess. And as they keep pushing for structures, they're kind of forcing the blue team into those situations. So here comes Greymane once again. Anduin also followed the portal rotation. They're starting to move in with Leo. The entire team is here just before the triple altar phase comes up. And Sergeant Hammer to the rescue, just turning around, pushing everybody back. And they are good to go. There's always the annoying thing when you're playing Sergeant Hammer that on objective number 1, you're typically not yet at level 7. So that makes things then a bit difficult and will limit some of the impact that you can have. But right now, it's going to be an exchange at the top left, top right. And he even got the one in the middle already. That interrupt came too late. Okay. I think they would have loved to extend that fight a bit longer, even if it's just to get Cassia a few more stacks. But that's not in the cards. If they would have been able to delay this just a bit, they might have even had level 7 talents for Sergeant Hammer. Either way, that's not quite how it happened. So now they're at least getting structural damage at the bottom of the map as they take that wall out. They have 31 stacks for Medivh, so he's getting there. He's nearly done with it. Sergeant Hammer now with hover siege mode. And in case of Cassia, we're getting Seraph's Hymn. Medivh obviously scouting all of that out. That dirty little cheater, seriously. That legal map hack that Blizzard introduced into the game. Unacceptable. Just flying around over there, taunting everybody. Honestly, one of the things where I would certainly open my wallet if I was a Medivh player was if you imagine if you had like text bubbles. You know, the way that you have in any kind of like comic book or manga or whatever, like text bubbles. And if you could like have a small one on your hero, pretty much like, you know, like when you're going for a spray, similar to that. Imagine just having like a text bubble like following Medivh around when he flies, and then he comes just in and he's like, "You suck," something like that. You just fly over the opponent the entire time, and you're just like telling them some niceties like that. I would pay for that. I would certainly open my wallet right there. Like tilting them and just like making them mad without ever being in danger. Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious. So yeah, they need to see if they get some proper voice lines for Medivh so that he can just annoy everybody that he's spying on. Then again, I feel that somebody like Anna should also be able to snipe Medivh if she goes into full sniper mode. Same for Nova, by the way. There should be something where you can just like shoot the bird out of the sky. Nice aggression now as they're all moving in down to the bottom of the map, trying to take down Malfurion first. He falls. And, well, they could get more. They will get more. Oh, yeah. Quest completed for Medivh, and they're getting kills on Cassia and on Jojo with it. Blaze is trying to come through with Sergeant Hammer to get them another counter kill. But by the way, this is the perfect opportunity to highlight this. Leo as the main tank, he died. Nobody gives a if Leo dies. Nobody cares. He's already back. He's already back, and they traded his life for 3 people. So that's exactly what you want to do there. You want to make sure that you're just like drawing a lot of aggro with Leoric, that he becomes the sacrificial pawn, and then you get the rest of them, you know, just to get some counter kills on the other side, and you're totally fine. He's going to respawn on side, he doesn't have travel time from the Nexus, and he'll be totally okay here. So this plan so far worked quite nicely. We have now the lore refreshments with a bit of an advantage in kills. They haven't taken the lead in experience yet, but they're still doing okay here. I have to shout out Cassia though. Bronek is right now at 42 stacks, which is pretty spectacular considering that we're only 6 minutes into the game. So that's actually very, very, that's great progress on his level 1. It's very well done. And if he can keep that up, he's going to become an absolute murderous machine towards the later stages of the game. So, yeah, we'll see. But at this point, yeah, we are at 32-28 points. There was another double spawn on altars, which the teams just traded. It's always those horizontal spawns that essentially do little to nothing. But now with the vertical spawn popping up, that's where the real action is. And that's where we're gonna get the party. Oh yeah. No talent advantages, nothing of the sorts. Just raw aggression, trying to take those altars. And, well, let's see who's going to be able to claim them here. Who's going to be able to take that out. By now we have a bit of a channel attempt already happening. Yep. Starting to make a few plays here. First and foremost, we have Malfurion at the bottom of the map, and he's not going to be interrupted at all. So that's a freebie that they got. Interrupts towards the middle, prevent the blue team from getting an altar. And now the fight is starting to shift to this a lot more aggressively. So, yeah, that's the next move right there. Still trying to get the rest of the team also back out. But there's the portal rotation where the light bomb straight onto the Sergeant and the backline. BFG is coming out too, and they're trying to get the kills, but this time the blue team is overstepped. They took damage, they lose Greymane, they lose Leo, and now they are going to lose the Crybaby. Anduin is like, where's my mommy? Just trying to get to the portal, but there is no help anymore. Mommy's gone, and so are you. Down. And with 5 bell towers to their name, that's 5 shots fired, so now we got 23 to 28 points. So Sergeant Hammer during all of this being able to get... Oh, they even killed the Leo. Trying to go for Leo again. But with Sergeant Hammer taking the bell tower at the bottom of the map, they got a lot of value there too. So great for them. Good stuff. 6 kills to 3. And now a bit of an advantage. And exactly what I talked about in the early game is now happening. You lose your bell tower. Sergeant Hammer says, well, thank you very much. I guess I'm going to protect that now. And they will have a tough time pushing into this and trying to take it. Once that they make the approach and get there, Greymane can of course do some serious work, but it's going to take some time. And as long as you keep feeding pumpkins through the bot lane, this might result in the blue team taking more damage to that. So, yeah, time will tell. Over there towards the middle, this attack is already coming out, so they're trying to make a few plays on this one. Yeah. Trying to take maybe even another bell tower down. Might be a little bit of a stretch, but we'll see. Top side, still a little attack on the pumpkins. Blaze wants them. Leo says, I could use some too. Here comes the Entomb. Pumpkins obviously already taken. Blaze wanted to just like deny them. But that is going to be a kill. Richo is buying himself some time here. I like it. There's no way he survives, right? Nah. For a second, I wasn't quite sure. For just a second, I was looking at this like, can he get away? And no, he cannot. So, yeah, he gets killed. We got Sergeant Hammer on the camp over on the right side. Starting to make the moves. Just the raw damage output that we have so far at 22,000 for Leoric. He's funnily enough the top damage dealer for the team. Boss, by the way, taken against the altar channel. So each team gets at least a few shots fired. But we now have 18 against 24. 38,000 for Cassia, so big damage from her. And now they're coming through with an attack at the bottom of the map again in an attempt to retake that bell tower. But the blue team is struggling here. Cassia is doing tons of work and damage, and so does Sergeant Hammer, so they're certainly putting them into a corner. It's a level advantage for the Enjoyers as well. The red team is just looking too strong here, and the comp is working beautifully for them. Leo is gone. That's the end of Urel now. She gets crushed. And with 2 heroes down, there's a lot of space now lost. Really tough for the Law Refreshments to get back into this now. And since they have bot lane control, since they have the superior numbers in bell towers, it just seems, I mean, I don't want to say impossible, but it seems really difficult for the blue team to get a foothold here. They're struggling to fight this back, and they are losing now ground in the middle. They're of course then moving down to the bottom of the map in an attempt to at least get something done here. This is also not quite working out, so they're struggling just across the board. And this is all happening while we have the third, or the triple altar phase now popping up again. So this is an opportunity even to end the game. If they get all 3, they're gonna get everything here. So, time will tell. For now, Leo falls once more. They get a second kill. Medivh is gone. He's the backbone of the team composition. So with him eliminated, they are just falling apart. Burel dies, another bell tower is claimed, and you know perfectly well where that's going. That is going to be game right here, right now. Unless the blue team pulls off a little miracle, this is going to be the end of the second map. Already the channel up at the top left, and shots galore fired from all directions. Down to 3 points on the core. The last salvo connects, and that is a 2-0 lead now for the Enjoyers in this best of 5. GG. Map number 3. Here we are, match point number 1 already, as the Enjoyers have now taken a pretty solid lead in this series. And we'll need to see what exactly the Lore Refreshments are going to do. The Medivh combo that they had in game number 2 together with Leoric as their frontline tank didn't work out for them now that we're heading into the third map. Maybe they have a different plan. We haven't really seen a whole lot of globals played in this series, by the way, just to throw that out real quickly. Most of the games that we're seeing, lots of Dehaka and lots of Falstad plays. Not so much here thus far. Could be changed on Sky Temple. I also have to come back to the Abathur ban that we saw in game number 1. I would absolutely love for some Abathur shenanigans on Sky Temple. And I suppose at least when it comes to the globals, it's not going to happen here. It might happen with Dehaka, but Falstad is already getting banned immediately upon entering the game. So, yeah, they're not really playing with that. Maiev also eliminated. Same true for Chen, so they're banning the side laners. And let's see how the blue team plays it out here. For them, it's a bit of a tall order now to make all of this work. They would have to really come in and now win 3 in a row. This is a qualification tournament, keep that in mind. So this is not, again, teams are trying to get points here for the end of season tournament. So it's 3 qualification tournaments, and the farther you go, the more points you get, and then the top teams qualify for the end of season event, where most of the prize money is allocated. But that also means that at least in this one, we do not have a loser's bracket. So if you lose here, you are out. You can try again next week in qualifier number 2, but this would then be the end for the Lore Refreshments on the first event, so this can be quite tough. Now, when it comes to the first pick rotation, this is a solid one. We've seen the same used on map number 2 by the Enjoyers. So now we got Johanna and Blaze on the blue team side, with Hogger taken for the red team. They have a great lineup now to control the front and also control, of course, the temples once that they're spawning. Jet Propulsion, Condemn, get the blind in, Blessed Shield then later, lots of CC and lots of survivability too. As we see for the first time in this series now, Diablo. So Dibbles is in and we get Rhaegar. It's still funny to me that Xardas, he's the support player for the team, but in game number 1 they just put him on Arthas. That was kind of fun. I liked seeing Arthas there. I would absolutely love to see him a bit more often in the main tank role. Even in side lane, I don't really care. But Arthas is kind of cool. I don't know why if it's for me, it's just nostalgia from Warcraft 3. Or just simply the fact, that when Heroes of the Storm got started, that he played a very big role back then as a main tank, and then things obviously changed very significantly. But yeah, those were the good old days. They actually banned Phoenix out. It's kind of funny to me. I wouldn't have expected to see a single Phoenix pick in this series, nor would I have expected a Phoenix ban. But apparently the Lore Refreshments, they have a bit of a favor for Phoenix. So Malfurion gets eliminated. The last one. I mean, they already have more or less their front line, so you don't need to ban out side laners any longer. Instead, they're targeting the support. And, well, what is the game plan for the blue team to bring this back? Greymane again. We saw him on the last map. And we get Kharazim. A bold choice. So, yeah. I mean, I like him. He gets style points, obviously. But can they turn it around with him? Seven-sided strike would be neat if they can unleash it and isolate a target, but that's always a bit of a question. You have mobility for sure. More single target damage too. So, I'm curious. Final 2 picks for the red team reveal Hanzo and Kel'Thas. So we get a bit more CC from Kel'Thas, we got the mage in, and we get Hanzo for more poke. And that brings us to our final pick for the blue team. So this is the lineup that is supposed to bring them back into the series. Kharazim as their healer. More aggression, but they need more damage. They need somebody else to help them out on Sky Temple. And I'm still a little bit shocked that we have seen throughout the entire series not a single Dehaka pick. That's wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me. No Dehaka whatsoever. Now we get the triple front line with Sonya, so we can get some leaps into. It's the first match point. Let's see if the Enjoyers can make this a 3-0, or if we're going to see a comeback approach from the lower freshmen. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 3. Temple. The lower refreshments in blue over on the left side. We get Cloud Destroy on Greymane. So they're swapping again heroes around a little bit. He played Medivh on the last map, so didn't play Greymane, but we have him on the doggy right now. Katilli on Johanna, Padapon on Sonya. We got Pervy on Kharazim, and Halcyon is playing Blaze for the blue team, as they are trying to bring this back at the first Eternal Conflict qualifier here in Season 2. Iron Fist for Kharazim, of course. On the right side is the Enjoyers with Virtue on Diablo. We got Xardas on Rhaegar. Bronic on Hanzo Alvaros on Kel'Thas, and Richu with Hogger. Full 5-man rotation over to the Watchtower. All about that vision. Sonya alone at the bottom of the map for now. Spin to win, baby. Oh yeah, full on whirlwind Barbarian. Yeah, I mean she went slam on level 1, but still. Sonya, always. Oh, and Kharazim is already punching people out. I mean, you can't fault him for effort. Sonya is also helping out here. Little move, and then they can take that camp, but obviously we see the same play made on their opponent's side. It's the Enjoyers that, I mean, again, I like the team a lot, and they were able to do work in game number 1, game number 2, so now they're going to try and make this a little bit more aggressive over here on the potentially final map of the series. The winner will move on to fight against Skibidi Exodia in the next round, which is essentially the winner bracket the winner bracket semi-final. And yeah, down at the bottom of the map already comes a couple of Siege Giants being defeated. It's a very tame early game. There was no big fight over the Watchtower. There was no big battle in the middle of the map. So thus far, not really too much happening. But that was a nice little play by Diablo to ensure that Jojo falls, and that is first blood in the game. In tower range, with a bit of CC, and Jojo doesn't stand a chance. So with the top side also getting pushed, still about of mercenary camps there more so than anything else. We got some aggression going in the middle of the map as they're trying to take another minion wave out and see if they can push for that wall. But yeah, on top of that, now having more pressure up at the top. Halcyon gets the stun, and Hogger eats dirt, yeah? It's hit pretty hard by those towers. Yeah, I want the ammunition back. I really liked ammunition. I am so sad that ammunition was removed. I'm not saying the way that it was implemented was perfect, but I thought the idea was really cool and it offered just some real nice opportunities and options for side laners in particular. So I think this entire concept of having ammunition on towers got buried way too late. I think they could have tried to just do something different with it. But the concept itself, I think, was super interesting and quite solid. So they could have done something with it. That it was completely removed, I don't really think I like that. But yeah. I would love to have ammunition back and then maybe some targeting also on forts in particular. I feel like we get a lot more ganks, obviously, now that it's targeting minions first, which I guess is nice. But I think you could combine those two aspects, the targeting of towers and forts, and then also bring ammunition in. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was a little bit more that they could have done to give the game more depth. So it's kind of sad that they removed it completely without first trying something else. But yeah, either way, long gone, obviously. By now we got level 7 talents on both sides. The shrines, the temples, they're up, so they're fighting for those. And especially that top lane fort of the red team is taking serious damage, as we got the Enjoyers just flying away through the middle. Sonya nearly got a kill against Khaldor at the bottom of the map, but now has to deal with Hanzo too. That doesn't eat too much damage here, but was certainly not happy about this. That's a lot of work done at the top side fort. Now here in the middle we have also seen damage applied, but not quite as much. The blue team probably has a shot at taking that top fort out if they're setting a nice push up. Sonya just slamming away at the next camp, and the fight is on. They're trying to go for Diablo. Jet propulsion stun after he just got saved a second ago by Rhaegar. Now they have their eyes on Jojo though, and she is gone. 3 kills to 1 in favor of the Enjoyers. So, job well done, nicely played. Trying to re-engage in the middle again and making some moves there. Yeah, at the bottom of the map we still have Sonya all alone. Didn't really go too deep with those siege giants. Knew that obviously a rotation was headed her way. If she was all the way at the front trying to take that wall down with the siege giants, she would have become the target extremely quickly and gotten eliminated there. So yeah, good move. But the attack still ongoing, because right now we have the top side pressuring. As I said before, they want that fort. They have a solid chance of taking that fort out, so they would be absolutely crazy to not give it a try. Hogger is defending though, so that didn't really work out yet. But we have then at the same time the attack coming through the middle, as they're trying to make some plays there as well. 10 soon gonna hit. It's a little bit more of a tamer start into the series, I'd say, or into a map than we've seen before from the two teams. But obviously there is now a match win on the line, at least when we're talking Enjoyers. So they are going to play this cautiously, not trying to risk too much. Making sure that this one counts. Ah, Sonya with a leap. That was obviously the question, Wrath or leap. They have a triple front line, so she can be aggressive. And then they could potentially follow that up with jet propulsion, maybe a blessed shield. So leap it is. Sonya is going to go for it. Already used it here in the middle. Hoarder pulled now. Blessed shield has also been used, so a lot of abilities on cooldown. And Sonya gets targeted and quickly pinned down, so she falls, and she's not the only one. Jojo completes her quest, which is fantastic. But then she dies, and that is 2 heroes gone. Lots of momentum and map control in the hands of the red team, which they are leveraging in the middle of the map to try and get some fort damage in. Might be able to take the entire thing down. And if that wasn't bad enough already, the temple at the bottom of the map is now also under the control of the Enjoyers. So they're getting mad value here. Thankfully for the blue team, they set up the camp push at the top, so the mercenary was able to take out the fort there. Doesn't really change the fact that in total they're just falling behind now. So it's a lead in experience and kills for the Enjoyers, and they have the structural advantage too. 7-sided strike, and Greymane ripping Hanzo apart. Rhaegar also, the little pup over here, is getting crushed too, so that's him gone. And that is exactly what they need to do in order to get back here. Now, are the few shots that they still have going to be enough to take that fort out? Yeah, of course not. But hey, it's a step into the right direction at least. Yeah, in the meantime, attacks in the middle. I mean, at the end of the day, the blue team could now really try to slowly bring this back a little bit. It's not going to be easy. They are structurally behind, but they're not that far behind. It's 1 fort difference. One good rotation, maybe steal a boss at some point, and you're back in the game. Now there's obviously a level 13 advantage, but the experience gap is not really that big, and they're closing it already. So they're gonna get that too. And they're making aggressive plays across the map now, trying to take heroes out, like Hogger at the top, for example. Hasn't worked out completely, but they got close, so he needs to be cautious as well. Everybody is still double checking on the boss too. You know, 8 minutes into the game and with level 13 talents on both sides, you have to be careful here. Especially, oh, Diablo! Caught and killed in the middle of the map. But as I was about to say, especially with Greymane and Kerosene and all that targeted damage that we have for the lore refreshments, they could go for very quick boss plays. For a second I thought they might do exactly that right now, but no. Diablo is obviously already back. He still I mean, he was fully stacked on his baseline. Arrow! And Sonya moved into it and eats the damage. They even get the barbecue going from Diablo here, but nobody is falling. It is barbecue season. I mean, it is very hot, it's summer, so it's absolutely barbecue season right now. And Diablo, he wants to join the fun. Wouldn't it be amazing if they would put out some kind of, like, barbecue chef Diablo skin? I'm not quite sure if you could actually come up with more synergy plays on his other abilities or anything of the sorts. But if he would have some barbecue play on his ult, that would be fantastic. Just gets the grill out, for example, and goes for like a fire breath all over it. That would be glorious. Now, anyways. Sonya with a bit of a leap attempt here, but not that it really yielded any kind of like noticeable results. Not able to get anything done there. We got now 18,000 damage for Greymane, who is in trouble. Spreads the love a little bit with those living bombs. Oh, and there comes another hit. Yeah, Khaldor is giving them a lot to think about here. Some hot plays that we're gonna see from him throughout this series. But yeah, right now we got another temple up at the bottom of the map, one at the top, and they're already taking control here. So shots are being fired. And this is very likely going to cost the blue team their last remaining fort. And they're not even going for the top temple. Instead, they're just attacking the middle of the map, trying to take a fort out. Where we already have a few of the defenders say hello. Arrow from Hanzo as well, but they didn't really pay too much attention to Khaldor, and he's gone. Look how the blue team is just swarming them. I mean, they're just running them down. Massive attack and pushing them back here. Trying to still capitalize on that number advantage, and they are able to use it by claiming another kill. They take down Hogger, they have a level 16 talent, and all of a sudden they're back in business. So they could be, well, first of all they're going for the boss, but they could be doing a lot more here. They could go for the mid fort, they could try and get some additional altar shots fired or temple shots fired. That's what Diablo, by the way, is now doing up at the top lane. Enjoyers are fully aware that the boss is currently getting targeted, so yep, this one's claimed. We have Jojo preparing that bot lane by trying to take this out. Diablo, as mentioned, he's getting at least some value at the top and is going to help them to eliminate another fort on the blue team side. But this is still dangerous. There's a lot going on at the bot lane in particular right now. And all of the forts are now destroyed for both of the teams. So structurally, they are absolutely even. That boss needs to be dealt with though. And funnily enough, Diablo decided to not stay any longer. They knew that a rotation would be coming eventually, but with them not having vision, we do obviously, they didn't know when it was coming, so they left very early and left a lot of shots up for the blue team to take. So structurally, we now have an advantage for the lore refreshments on this map. They are a bit ahead on all of this, even in experience and in kills. Specifically in experience, they have pulled ahead by nearly an entire level. So that's already problematic. But hey, let's see. Let's see if the red team can fight back. Because at the end of the day, so far at least, the Enjoyers have always excelled in the late game. Hanzo with 27,000 damage. It's kind of funny as well if you're thinking about who died so far in the game. Blaze, Kerosene, and Greymane are the only ones that haven't died yet. So all of the kills against the blue team were against Sonya and against Johanna. All the way up at the top, still defending against... I mean, they're pinned down a little bit. They're defending against the catapults, they're defending against the minion waves now. The mercenary camps that are being taken, and it allows the blue team a lot of freedom in their rotations, as we're seeing here. They move quickly down to the bottom of the map, take out part of the wall, and the more you're eliminating without using objectives, the better, of course, for you in the long run. But it feels like the red team is just trying to stabilize here. There is that level 20 talent that eventually kicks in, though, that you have to keep in mind. And with a 1 level gap, this could get tricky. The double temple that spawns next after all, so one thing to consider here. They're already coming through for Blaze, and there's the barbecue. But look how quickly the entire red team is sucked in by Jojo and absolutely wrecked. That was crazy. Full on crazy town. It's a 5-man team wipe. And this might be the beginning of the end. Look at this play. Look at this right here. They are sucking everybody in, slowing them down. She completed her level 4 quest, and then it was just glorious. Diablo also getting killed here. I was about to say, it was just like an absolute disaster for the red team, but now Diablo respawning and then getting killed instantly again. That's of course the final nail in the coffin. This doesn't look like they have any kind of chance to bring it back. 12 kills to 5, and 1 keep gone. Blaze firing away at the bottom keep. They're moving into the middle to take the next. And the red team, while back, don't have a level 20 talent, are in serious trouble here. Here's another look, by the way, at that fight. Look at this. Absolutely nuts. They teed everything up. They got the stuns. Jojo was coming through here. Leap. I mean, everything worked perfectly well to just tee up for the damage. And they destroyed the entire team within seconds. Chasing down Diablo to finish everybody off, but 4 heroes that didn't stand a chance. It was just the positioning itself that made that happen. But yeah, shots are being fired right now, and the core is already losing hit points. So they're just getting a few final shots moved in from the middle temple. It's not going to win them the game just now, and it seems like the Enjoyers haven't really given up on this yet. They are trying to fight this out. First spot or first play would of course be to make it towards level 20. That's the first objective here. If they can get there, that would be nice. But that's the first question mark that we have to deal with right now. Imagine the blue team now losing. I mean, it's honestly their match to lose now. If they don't massively screw up, this is a win. If they don't massively screw this one up, it's going to be a victory for them. Even time is just working in their favor. You can basically let catapults do your job at this point. But we will have the Enjoyers on level 20. They have no global either. If you had Dehaka, if you had Falstad, then you would at least be in a position where you can react to moves that are made. But that's not the case. The good news for them is that the next temple is a single temple. The bad news is that the boss is back up and they kind of have to go for it. You need to YOLO here. You need to go for the boss. You have very little other options. You need to just go and force a fight on this one. If you don't, and you leave the boss up, then you leave them an opening. The blue team is threatening core though. So the blue team is actually, instead of going for the boss and trying to force that fight, they're just saying, if you're going for the boss, we're going for the core. You're down to 59%. We can take that. So here comes the Enjoyers. They are trying to force the battle. They need to. This is their job right now. Force a fight, force a battle, see what they can do with it. APOC play. They try to get Jojo. The bunker is up. This is the team fight that they need. Oh! Sonya with a big jump. Lots of people that are massively low, but it's Hogger and Hanzo that are dying first. They can't get the kills against the refreshments, and this is all she wrote. Greymane falls, but he's the only one that dies on the blue team side. Maybe they can get Jojo. Even that's a stretch. It's another 5-man wipe. And we have a big wave coming through the top, through the bot lane. And of course, this is where the refreshments are finally putting a point onto the scoreboard. They are forcing game number 4 and are very eager to bring this to a 5th map. Nice effort by the Enjoyers, just not enough to claim the match victory. The lower refreshments with their first W in this best of 5 series. GG. Map number 4, Aldrich Pass. The first pick first ban goes over to the lower refreshments as we're entering the 4th map. There's a chance to force game number 5 now. On Sky Temple, the blue team did well. First time that they were able to come in and take a victory here. and they overwhelmed the Enjoyers in the late game just a bit too much. Now that we're heading into our 4th map of the series, there's of course still a chance for the red team to win the match right now with a W on Alderac Pass. It's their map choice too. So they lost and therefore had the choice whether they wanted to have first pick or map choice, and they decided that they wanted to play on Alderac Pass more than having the first ban and the first pick in the draft itself. So we'll see how this is going to be played out now, but since it's their map choice, I expect that they're going to be headed for a draft that they are super comfortable with on Alderac Pass. With a big map inside, there's obviously again the option that you're going for some globals. Then again, you can also get a Nubarak play so that you can try and sneak in some of the, all of the progress on the prisoner camp, if you can destruct those grunts or footmen a little bit. EDC gets banned too. He can always be played with the stage dive here if you want to, so you again could go for a global. Keep in mind we haven't seen the Haka in this series so far yet. I mean, again, you can pick anything, there's no draft restrictions, but teams have really not prioritized the Haka whatsoever. This could change here if you want to use that, but nope. Hogan Blaze, just a little bit too appealing, so even on Alderac Pass, we're not gonna get a Dehaka pick. But it's Blaze once again. With Jojo banned, they can't go for the combo again. The Johanna Blaze combo in this series at least, undefeated so far. We get Chromie for the ranged poke. And then over on the left team side, what are they starting off with into this 4th map? It's always tough recovering from an 0-2 position. But hey, they made the big first step into the right direction. Who knows, maybe they can also force map number 5. We got Sylvanas, so if you get the objective, good for you. And we get Anduin again. And so far they're going for the World of Warcraft team. They could go for a full combo here. But I'm a bit more curious what especially we're gonna get for damage now on, and also for the main tank for the Enjoyers. At some point they just could go full Arthas on us again. I want to get some interesting stuff here. Inubarak gets now banned again. They obviously are aware too that you could play him here, and they don't want to risk that. It can be mega annoying if you have to keep one eye on the prisoner camp the entire time, and Inubarak can just simply solo that whenever he wants. Same is of course true for a couple of other heroes that we have in the game. We've seen it with Gazlo during the Murky Cup. You can make similar plays also with Samuro if he's taken. This is one of those maps where Samuro is also great if you have a decent Samuro player. Can be super annoying on that side lane and then really help out in the team fights around the prisoner camps. Falsa gets banned again, so they are just targeting him. It's a bit shocking to me that we haven't seen him more and also not higher prioritized than that, because in most games these days we're going to get frequent flyer eventually. So now we get Diablo again and we get Rhaegar, so they believe in Dibbles. It didn't work out for them on the 3rd map. But we have now Diablo together with Blaze and then Rhaegar for that burst heal, especially after level 10. But with the final 2 picks for the lower refreshments. Moment of truth! We need that frontliner! What you gonna go for this time? We have Sylvanas. She can help you with structural damage and also, of course, a nice damage dealer just all in all. But we get Tyrael and we get D.Va. Triple frontline for them now. Likely going to be a Sanctification, given what team they've chosen for this. Even though I would love some kind of... yeah, you can't really time that properly. Judgment into D.Va explosion would be kind of fun, but the timing on that would be really, really difficult, and it's a bit unrealistic. So, the final pick for map number 4. Again, Alderac Pass is our map as we're heading into it. And the final choice is we get Arthas again, the triple front line. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! The refreshments against the Enjoyers. It is on like Lordaeron. Let's go! D.Va for Catilli on the side of the refreshments. Taken pretty much immediately. We got Patapon on Hoggar for the blue team, Halcyon on Tyrael, Perfy on Anduin, and Claw Destroy on Sylvanas. Over on the right side of the map, it is the red team with Birchu. We got him on Diablo for the Enjoyers. We got Xardas on Arthas, seen it before, so he played Arthas already in game number 1 with success. So let's see what he can do here today. Richu and Blaze, Bronic on Rhaegar, and Alvaros is playing Chromie for the red team. Wait a quick pause here for just a second, because apparently Claw Destroy is a little bit too important. He had other obligations here. Unacceptable. Ooh, look at this, by the way. We're getting Arthas now with a different build. We are getting the Borean Winds on level 1. So, a little bit of movement speed, and, I mean, again, this is all him trying to be a massive nuisance during team fights and controlling the opponent's team even further. So you get a bit of movement speed, you can really run them down, the slows last longer, but you don't have that... Well, we'll see what he does on level 4. I was just about to say, normally when you're seeing Arthas these days, he's really going for a Howling Blast build and is trying to set the team up for kills. This is level 4, gets a lot of utility out of his level 1 as he stacks it as well. But it's kind of interesting to see him now go for the Borean Winds here. There's obviously a difference in the ways that he was played so far. Specifically that in the first game, when he was chosen, he was the main tank for the team. So right now, it's a little bit different. We have all the way up at the top, Virtue just sitting tight, and they're obviously going for the camps as quickly as they can, as Arthas is working in a few stacks for himself. And yeah, might get a few more here. I like that he's now played more in the bruiser and control role. Sad that he's the first one to die. Didn't Lauber, so the 1 minute mark at least passed. Yeah, but we'll see what they can do with it. Also, on level 1, we have Stormcaller for Rhaegar. Starts to get some stacks in here as well, and can obviously then become a little bit more tanky in all of this. But very curious to see how all of this is now panning out for them as we're progressing through the game, through the talents, and see if they're going to make more adjustments than just that, especially when we're talking Arthas. Now this is obviously a game where the Enjoyers can technically still take a few risks. They have the advantage in the series, but you kind of want to close that out. It's going to be a long day for going for a full 5-mapper on this one. Potentially, at least. They get a kill on Anduin, and well, here we go. Frost Strikes. Okay. So now you're getting slow, and you're also getting additional spell damage in as well. So once again, looking at more slows, more control during fights. And for Chromie, this is going to be really nice. If targets can't move fast, then Chromie has a much easier time getting her kills in. So this is one of the things that they're going to work for. And then again, you're also getting a lot of additional damage in too. So if you work that nicely, you can get murderous amounts in with just your attacks alone. And the trade, of course. But time will tell. I kind of like that we have something different here. You know, a bit of a different build that they're building around. And with that triple front line, this is something... I don't think we have seen Arthas too much in that role yet, since he was reworked in... more of a bruiser role or in a triple front line, but it's quite clear that he is going to be a CC machine no matter what. Now, they are starting to move in from the side, but the problem is that Chromie is already taken out, so they were trying to flank. And yeah, Arthur's quickly kept that by, but they're trying to go for Hogger. He spins out here. Arthas gets a lot of slows in and is working it the best he can. But with them being at the bottom map now with 5 heroes, the blue team just has the superior numbers. Chromie is slowly coming back, and keep in mind she's the only range damage dealer for the red team, so it's not like the 3 at the front can just simply turn this easily against the blue team and win their team fight. So they have to be super careful around it. But yeah, for this, the next attack is happening against Anduin, as usual. Arthas, he gets targeted really hard now and gets killed quickly. So they gotta be super careful with this. Arthas is a bit too far out, and he's oftentimes finding himself alone. Richu also falls, and the blue team is absolutely wrecking this early game. It's actually kind of getting crazy. The blue team is currently on an absolute tear here. These guys are going through their opponents like hot butter through cheese. And given how well the Enjoyers played in the first few maps, this is starting to come a bit as a surprise. This is not working whatsoever. There's a leading experience now for the lore refreshments, and look how they are punishing this bot lane. Super aggressive, with Sylvanas in particular. I mean, they're hyper aggressive with her, and they're taking out the first fort at the 5-minute mark. The Enjoyers, on the other hand, they're simply trying to survive for now, and not to fall too far behind. trying to stack things up a little bit, get stronger towards the mid and late game and see if they can bring it back, but they're missing now out on an entire level. So it's not an easy game for them at all. Diablo at least is stacked, but yep, this is gonna be a difficult one. Perfy is now moving back out. We're having Destroy starting to make moves towards the top. So they're giving up on the prisoner camp for the time being. It might actually be time for the red team to see if they can make a move there. Diablo is getting out of the explosion radius as Arthas is re-engaging again. And as we said before, he has the slows here. The mana management is also working with that level 1 talent quite nicely. There's the Howling Blast. The mech is gone. And Anduin, yeah, he's gonna be slowed. Here's the first quick stun against the pilot. And this is a kill. Diva is gone. Anduin was also in trouble. They make a play for Tyrael, who gets pushed around and slowed into oblivion. That's the beauty of Arthas, at least. Lots and lots of control. Blaze had to deal with Sylvanas at the top lane, who mercilessly pushed for the fort. Seems like Hogga is in trouble too. Don't tell me he gets out of this. There's the Howling Blast, and okay, there's the kill. For a second, I really thought that he gets away. But level 10 abilities are now in the hands of the blue team, so we're seeing the Enjoyers move back for just a second, get themselves another minion wave or two before they start re-engaging. They have the numbers advantage, of course, so that's a lead. But they are also now, in just a moment, on level 10 abilities themselves, which give us, again, the Army of the Dead. Sanctification for Tyrael already used. We try to control him here. But Diablo and Blaze are making progress towards the objective. Here's the APOC play. Jet propulsion as well. And they get the bubble. Anduin is bubbling things up today. So it's a bubble move by him. I don't think they can save him though. Anduin is too deep and gets fully controlled. The objective is taken and that's Diva gone. Anduin gone. Diva gone. The objective locked in. And they want Hogga as well and they get him. The Ragdoll getting absolutely destroyed too. So at this point, the Enjoyers just done with it. They done goofed. They come in, get the kills, get the objective, and now start to bring the pain. In the mid lane, at the top, at the bottom, splitting out on all lanes as they're getting hyper-aggressive over here. They want some forts and they want some walls, and they're going to get value. How much? Still to be determined, but the lore refreshments, they've certainly lost that momentum that they built in the early minutes of the game. Now the question is if they can recover it. They're defending well in the middle, but Arthas is attacking heavily at the bottom of the map, and then we got Blaze against Diva up at the top. Hogga trying to do his thing here. Wall destroyed. Hogga, by the way, in trouble. Arthas again. You gotta deal with him somehow, and once he's latched onto you, you are in trouble and you know it. So, once again, the attack on Hogga, who's trying to spin out here. Rhaegar came, and that could have been a disaster. But it seems like this fort is, for now, still in play. Ancestral used, and with the Howling Blast, they're able to move out. But several forts have suffered severe hit point losses. Now, it doesn't really change the fact that at the top of the map, we still have the red team with a fort that is super low. And, of course, they lost their fort at the bottom of the map. So there's a lot of good plays that have been made by the lore refreshments. And this is going to pay off as the game continues. But this brought the red team back, for sure. Lead in experience, for now at least. Arthas still stacking also his baseline. We now level 13 talents that are kicking in. And for Arthas, that means that we get the Biting Cold. So you have a lot more bonus damage on this too. So this is going to help him to get the numbers up. And since he is essentially just an aura machine at this point, this is going to benefit them greatly. On top of that, you then have your auto attacks that are increasingly doing more damage. 69 for now. And of course, we're talking about the extra damage on Frostmourne. Arthas needs to join them here though, because that shockwave, they really want Diablo. Even a Sanctification is being used. Arthas is starting to move in, and the aura alone is already doing damage at this point now. So they're trying again to go for Diva. Chromie with the play, the bubble, insta-APOC, and there's the interrupt, and Arthas just auraing it up the entire time now. And that is trouble brewing for the blue team. They lost Diva, they lose Anduin, and you just can't escape from Arthas. Tyrael is dead too. That's another triple kill for the Enjoyers as the team is starting to slowly take control of this game. 44,000 damage for Chromie. Arthur, second highest damage dealer on the team with 28,000, matching Hogger on the other side. Sylvanas on 36, the only hero on the blue team that hasn't died yet. But with another objective up on the map, the Enjoyers are certainly going to give it a shot and see if they can lock this one in as well. And Arthur's again, he is becoming trouble. He is starting to become real troublesome in these fights now. The Aura plays, as long as he can't get killed quickly, with Rhaegar dropping Ancestrals and him using the Icebound Fortitude, they get value out of him. Howling Blasts are coming out, the Aura is doing damage, is slowing them down, and they gotta deal with it somehow. They try to take Chromie out. She's the main damage dealer for the team, so she should be the primary target if they can get to her. D.Va does exactly that, locks her down. Now they go for Arthur's, and there's the blue team finally starting to make some good moves again. Double kill and saving the objective. And it was close. 3.5 second missing. But now we have the lore refreshments with Sylvanas just doing her thing again. Moving towards the middle and trying to take another fort out. So far, it is mainly the Enjoyers that are losing out on structures. They have been I mean, they're doing better on teamfights now. They even get a kill here, maybe? Nah. They get the mech destroyed, but they are not able to get the kill. But still, same situation at the end of the day. We now have the level 16 talent kicking in. Arthur's is back. So is Chromie. Still defending. And Arthur's is specking on level 16 now with the Remorseless Winter also into this aura. So more damage, more roots. It's control, 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 control. And it's honestly up to Chromie to capitalize on that. That's at the end of the day what they gotta do. Chromie needs to capitalize on it, just wait that out and then just use it for targets practice. Bottom of the map, they're going for the boss. So it's going to be boss against objective that gets played here. They tried to activate the boss at the top and that did not quite work. But they have a bit of leeway at the top fort and can maybe take this out as well. So they are pushing for this very quickly to try and get some value. And yep, that fort is gone. Now Blaze is defending at the bottom of the map. D.Va is here and is going to attempt to annoy him a little bit. Arthur's is right now at 29 stacks. So again, on auto attacks, that means he has now an additional 90 damage, basically. So, yeah. Could do a little bit more here, by the way, if he had the mechanics for it. Because as you can see here, you are trying to kill a minion with this as well. So if you put this in 2, this certainly helps. But yeah, there's 90 additional damage. They will make a difference over time. But they're hunting him down again. Rhaegar misclicked! No! He self-ancestral instead of targeting Arthur's. Oh boy. I mean, nobody died but Bronek. That was a massive mistake. Rhaegar accidentally healed himself at full HP while he was trying to save Arthur's. Now Arthur's got out of the fight, but boy, that is one that shouldn't happen. This is usually the moment when you hope that nobody saw you. Unfortunately for him, we did. So yeah, 10 kills to 7. I mean, it's one of those shit happens moments. He didn't even get pinged by the team, so maybe they didn't even catch it either. Be it as it may, we now have 10 kills to 7. All the forts are gone. It's a fairly even game with a leading experience for the Enjoyers. So that's where we're at right now. And of course, teams are slowly making it towards level 20. Chromie already has hers. Cheating as usual. That's what they do. The fake dragons, that's what they do. And now the fight towards the top. Chromie, you should stay in the back. You got enough range. You don't need to be at the front. That's the one thing where you don't need to be. They are actually trying to go, or they were thinking about going for the boss. Activating that for just a moment. Yeah, imagine them sneaking that in. Tyrael, okay, can't get the stuns connected here. But now it's time for Arthas again to show us what he's made of. Can they get some value here? Rhaegar's under attack, Sanctification, body blocked, and he's gone. Yeah, and with Rhaegar eliminated this quickly, your fight is lost. You don't have sustain anymore, you gotta back off. You can maybe poke, if there's a fight for the prisoner camp. Not the case right now. But if that was the case, then you could, you know, use Chromie and poke from a distance. But instead they're going for the boss at the top. So, here's the counter play. They're trying to go for D.Va. They should be able to take her down. Well, maybe not. D.Va is kind of low, but so is Arthur's. And keep in mind, they don't have the heal here anymore. They got them away from the boss, though. But Arthur's dies. If he survives, it's great, but he gets killed, so that's a bit of a problem. If they would have been able to just get back out, this would have been amazing. This would have actually been amazing, but now they lose Arthur's and they still lose that boss. So it's a bit of a weird one, where the lore refreshments are making some big plays to get back into the game. And it might work for them. I mean, we're 15 minutes deep now. We have the objective up too. Blaze, talking about being deep, I mean, he's really deep. They know that there's at least a few heroes up at the boss, so I suppose that's why they made that play. Arthur's has gone into the Legion of Northrend again. And yeah, they gotta defend at the top, but they also have to keep an eye on their prisoner camp. Both teams now with Storm talents, which gives us 4 Sylvanas, the Withering Barrage. And Ablative Armor for D.Va. So objective is getting targeted next. That's what they're working on as we speak. And the question is, how is the red team going to run this? They've already done significant damage to the boss. So they could at this point just simply fall back and let the towers do the rest of the damage, which apparently is the game plan. But they have to somehow defend this. Chromie needs to push him back. Blaze is moving in from the top. Here comes Diablo. Nice play. Really nice play through the Hellgate. But we got the Sanctification now up. And the bubble from Anduin. Timing them both. Apoc now used. Bit late. They get Rhaegar again. Rhaegar is gone. And the red team might just lose out here. They're losing too much ground. Xardas on Arthur's trying to escape. Can't make it. That's the second one to fall. They go for Blaze, who they likely will be able to kill. They take down Diablo. Blaze is being still hunted down. And as they're cutting his path of retreat off, whoa, he gets a jet propulsion just in the nick of time to escape. But the cavalry is now on its way. Cavalry is on its way, and Sylvanas is already doing damage at the bottom of the map. This is starting to look grim for the Enjoyers. We might actually go to game number 5 on this one. We might be headed for the 5th map. D.Va gets hit though. Hit hard. But is able to get... Oh, she's able to get out. Yep, not so much Tyrael though. Tyrael gets destroyed. So, if they get the rest of the team out and Arthur's back in, who knows? They might actually be able to properly save this. But Blaze, no. Blaze is getting hit and killed. Oh boy. Yeah, this is going to cost them multiple keeps. Keep in the middle is already gone. Keep at the bottom of the map now removed as well. That means 2 of the armor shields on the boss, on the core, are eliminated. Here comes the next kill attempt. They go for Arthur's again. And Xardas, he's dead. He's not having a good game here. He stacked his baseline quite nicely, but he died 6 times, which is definitely too much. The team is on the run. They lose Chromie, and this should be it. This should really be it right here. They even get the explosion out from D.Va to buy them a little bit of time. We're going to game number 5, everybody. We're going the distance. We're going the distance on this one. Anduin went light of Stormwind and has been repeatedly able to use it in these last fights. And they lock in the W. We're going to game number 5 of this series at the first qualifier. GG. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect that we would go to game number 5 on this one. Not the way that the first 2 maps went. To be fair, it's not like the Enjoyers were too dominant on map number 1 and map number 2, but it really felt like the team that was, you know, the favorite, that has more experience in this environment, in tournaments in general, was doing what they were supposed to do and slowly marching to victory. Now we're going to Curse Tolo, which is the final map, and, well, we might even get a full reverse sweep. So kudos to the blue team. Kudos to the lore refreshments that they were actually able to just, like, you know, claw themselves back into the series. They won the 3rd, they won the 4th map, they did a great job here on Alderac Pass, and now they have a shot at moving on in the tournament and sending the Enjoyers packing. This is the first qualifier for the Eternal Conflict, but we certainly already got a pretty big highlight, even in the first series of the game, which is kind of crazy. So, Vikings have been banned. Since the first game, we've essentially seen a consistent ban against Maiev from the red team. They just don't want to deal with her. The Arthur's performance, by the way, it hasn't really worked out. I was really hoping that with a bit of a different Arthur's build, you know, we might see something that kind of works, and it just didn't. They were trying to use him in the triple front line as this just bulwark that would consistently slow the opponent down, get some extra damage in. They moved away from the Howling Blast combo, and it just didn't really work for them. He also got targeted very heavily and then died 6-7 times, so that was not the play. Dehaka taken for the first game in this best of 5 series, so now that we're on Cursed Hollow, we are getting at least some global value. Could result in Falstad also being taken, so that they at least have some kind of counterplay. Hogga, throughout the entire series, by the way, insanely prioritized. But this is the first time, I believe, that we don't see Blaze, and then they lock him in! Now, triple frontline, or are they gonna play a Blaze main tank? That's the bigger question. They go for Anduin again, who, by the way, funnily enough, got lots and lots of value out of his level 20 talent in the last game. Him going bubble really worked for them. There was no light bomb there that they played around with, but him just bubbling it up time and time again and getting that cooldown reduction was huge. Now Tyrael gets banned out as a bit of a result, I guess, to what we saw in the last game, and also because the Enjoyers still believe that we're going to see another melee added to the blue team's lineup, that they are not using Blaze as a main tank, which is simply Hogga on his side. But of course the question would then still be, what exactly is the red team now going to do? They are in a bit of a pickle. You are 2-0 and all of a sudden you start losing games. You gotta ask yourself at some point, guys, how do we turn this around? Falstad gets banned. I don't think we've seen Falstad once in this series. It's still crazy to me. It is still crazy to me. Frequent Flyer is just everywhere. Every match I look, there's a bird. But here, no Falstad. Got banned out a couple of times, ignored a few others. So now we get Lucio and we get Tychus. Okay. Tychus pick on Cursed Hollow. Okay. Didn't really expect that either. And reminder, there are no draft restrictions. So you can go ham on this one. They want to go Tychus. And that's what they're getting. Alvarus needs more damage for them. Tychus alone is not going to cut it here. Could have seen Xardas maybe also again on the support role, but no. So instead, Greymane and D.Va again on the blue team side, which means that we now have Blaze, very likely in the main tank role, with D.Va and Hogga to his side. So triple front line after all. That leaves us with our final pick for the final map. Again, Game 5. We are going there. It is a full-on 5-mapper between the two teams here in the first round of the first qualifier here for the Eternal Conflict. And yeah, Alvarez, he got to step it up for the team too. Tychus alone is not going to cut it for them, as we already said. It is Cursed Hollow as a map. There's a double boss play available here too. And he goes Malthael. We get both teams with a triple front line. Malthael against the 3 melees that we see over on the blue team. And we're now going to see, is it going to be a reverse sweep? Or are the Enjoyers finally converting a match point and taking the series after all? Let's jump straight in. Cursed Hollow. The final map, we got the blue team. Cthulhu with D.Va, Cloud Destroy on Greymane. We got Padapon on Hogga, Halcyon on Blaze, and Pervy on Anduin. I still don't like that nickname, by the way. Why would you call yourself Pervy? Like, that already has a wrong ring. If at some point they put him on Muradin with a Candy King skin, then this would just be absolutely perfect. So yeah. That Anduin is a little bit of a perf, I totally see that. I can believe that 100%. If you're trying to project the image of being squeaky clean all the time, something's definitely wrong with you. But still, that name is a bit on the nose. Just my personal 2 cents. Birchu on Johanna. We got Xardas on Tychus, Bronic on Lucio, Richu on Dehaka, and Alvaros is playing Malthael. Well, let the games begin. What are we going to get now? We get a grenade build first and foremost. We get the smooth moves from Lucio. And the blue team is not willing to engage into an early game battle. Nope. They're just sitting there and saying, okay, we're going to sit on the sidelines. We're going to play this slow. No mistakes, guys. No risks. We clawed our way back into this series. We want to win this one. Let's go all out on the last map and see what we can pull off here. Against the triple front line, is Xardas going to make an adjustment? It's no auto attack build that he's running. But what is the level 4 choice? Is it just Master Assassin, straight down the meta line? Or is he just saying, okay guys, with this many melee heroes, with Greymane being there as well, I'm gonna go stacks. We're gonna go in the rhythm. I kind of doubt it a little bit, but I think it would be an opportunity for them to pull something like that off if they really wanted to. But time will tell. Master Assassin, always a great choice for your Odin upgrade. So there's that. The team's, of course, eager to play around mercenary camps and establish a bit of early game pressure. Maybe even get a kill. But level 4 is going to tell us a few things. Double StarCraft, by the way, for the red team now. So yeah, double StarCraft against single StarCraft is what we're getting here. Still one of the strongest franchises. For sure. So, Richu up at the top. It's the first time that we're seeing a Dehaka in the series, and I'm actually all for it. Because I want to see if we're going to get value out of those global plays, and who knows how the late game is going to look. They're certainly trying to go for him, though. He's already a bit low, and, well, yeah, they show their hand, and he can easily move back away from that. It is the bigger they are. Level 4, Tigers trying to burn them out a bit more aggressively. Now we have a 4-man at the top lane, and there needs to be a redaction and quickly, because Greymane in Worgen form is going to rip you a new one if you let him, and that's what is going on at the top. The entire wall is eliminated. They are trying to get some value, but the explosion forces them back, buys time for the blue team, so they can retreat here if they want. They're already on the move. But yeah, Virtue is the first one. But now we also have Virtue starting to move in again and make his move. The first tribute is spawning though. Bot lane. And yeah, time to party. Well, they're already partying in the middle as it turns out. Anduin throwing some light around as usual. No, please, no. The top Hogger with the spin to win. Hogger needs a bath. He does. And a haircut. Down here, I mean, it doesn't really feel like anybody is interested in that tribute. Both of the teams have one hero there, so nobody is going to get it for now. We could see the first kill, though. And it's both Malthael and Greymane that are in trouble, and I think they're both gonna die. Yep, they are. Malthael is down, so is Greymane. Now they're chasing Lucio. He's just dancing out of the fight. But we have a trade in kills. A bit of a deviation now also with the Relentless Soldier on level 7 for Tigers. Malthael with Massacre. When he started to go for Greymane, I was really, alright, this is looking more and more like both of them are going to fall, and that's indeed what happened. They both wanted to go ham there. Now the first tribute is going to end up with the red team. They are hoping for a kill, but Blaze gets away. So the tribute is taken, but that of course brings them back down to the bottom of the map, and it means that we are seeing another attempt by the lore refreshments to go for the fort. Explosion from D.Va is already in. We're getting Alvaros moving slowly away. We got some damage on the fort, but not too much. So now again the attack on D.Va, and we've seen lots and lots of D.Va plays. Clearly a preference pick here for the blue team too. Might end up in later stages of this or the next tournament, if they sign up again, with D.Va actually getting banned against them. A little bit dependent on how things go here. But Blaze is also attacking, so structurally they're doing well. The next tribute spawns at the top side, top left. Much easier for the blue team to lock that in, and I guess they're just gonna go for the freebie here. D.Va is sitting tight, and is the red team actually making a move? It seems like they are, actually. They are at least going to try and interrupt from the looks of it. Yeah, so trying to keep D.Va there while Jojo controls the lane. Tigers is nearby too. Both Greymane and Malthael are going for camps. And, well, there's a tiny lead in experience for the Enjoyers. So, who knows? Maybe if they get heroic abilities, they can use that window to grab themselves another tribute. But it's really just the smallest of gaps. I mean, we've seen gaps like this make a difference, but ooh, that is a play. So, this could get interesting. There's the attack already. They let the boss leash from the looks of it. Blessed Shield! Look at this! It's perfect! The timing with the level 10! Absolutely perfect! That's what I was talking about earlier. It's such a small window, and it still lined up to perfection and allowed them to get the first stack for Malthael, a kill against Anduin, and more momentum as they're now moving in on Blaze, forcing him to bunker up. They go for Greymane. This is what the Enjoyers needed here. Momentum. They identified the attack at the boss. It was a nice, sneaky little play from the blue team that could certainly have worked out. But Dehaka, he double-checked, and then they moved in. Couldn't get the boss, but they certainly got a kill, and they got a stack from Malthael. So things are lining up pretty all right now. Malthael, 20 seconds, and still has it back, and damn, they are back at it. They are immediately moving back on it. D.Va's getting attacked over here in the middle, and, well, is able to mech up again. But down here, they are once again invading. Here comes the Blessed Shield again. Last Rites is up in 1 second and could be used. Malthael is ready for it and does not. No, he actually drops it. Drops it and they get the kill. Blaze is down. Greymane is down. They're taking down the mech again. The boss is still in play. We see D.Va fall and the boss gets stolen, and it's nearly a 5-man wipe. Anduin is the only survivor here. Huge fight, and that is disastrous for the lore refreshments. They made it to game number 5. They made it all the way here, and then they are trying some risky plays, and it's all falling apart all of a sudden. The boss is taken. Malthael, even though he fell, already has 2 stacks at the 7-minute mark. And this is disastrous. That's a 10-second cooldown reduction for him this early on already. And we are going to see a curse too. The tribute is up. They got the tribute at the top left. So now they're going to take it down here at the bottom right of the map. And this is a curse. They have a 2-level advantage. They took out the bottom fort. And everything is just lining up perfectly for the Enjoyers. They were struggling. They were in trouble. They lost 2 games in a row. Game 5 was forced on them. And it certainly looked like we might see a full reverse sweep. But now it is tough for the blue team. They have to dig deep in order to come back here. And it's going to be very, very difficult. Dehaka is attacking the top side fort using the curse. And we have down at the bottom of the map the boss still in play. Even if the keep doesn't fall, it will take damage here. So this curse is hitting the Enjoyers hard. Keep that takes damage. Dehaka should get a freebie at the top lane. Inspire buff already procced on the minion wave. They will send some defenders top, but of course the curse not done for another 18 seconds, so this will allow the Enjoyers to move towards the middle and try and get some value here. It's exactly what they're doing. With Malthael ready for the next last rites, they could also try and get another kill and another stack for him. Topside fort has now been destroyed, so this was a pretty successful play for the Enjoyers. And it's reflected, of course, in the advantage that they're running here. 15 against 12. Here comes the light bomb, gets pushed back, and the explosion. Yeah, that would be the dream combo. I mean, that would be reaching, but imagine D.Va darting in with a light bomb that keeps you in the explosion radius. That would be genius. The blue team, though, they're losing too much. Here, look at this. Another kill for Malthael. He is at 3 stacks. Hogga is dead as well. 8 kills to 1. And again, 3 stacks for Malthael. 9 minutes in is just nuts. That's a 15-second cooldown reduction already. It's crazy. They just picked up their level 13 talents, and now we're gonna see the red team pull ahead with a level 16 advantage. Malthael is at 33,000 damage right now. Top damage in the game. Hogga comes in second on 27k. But again, they have a 3-level advantage. They have level 16 talents now. This is looking amazing for the Enjoyers. I mean, at last. They had a 2-0 advantage, and then things just didn't go their way anymore. Now in Cursed Hollow, this is their map. This is the move right there. And they're working it. And the lore refreshments, they're getting a bit desperate, as you can see. They're hoping to get kills. They're looking for every opportunity that presents itself to jump on a target and take it down. That would help them. But it really feels like they are getting a bit desperate here. And I mean, for good reason. Clawing their way back into this is going to be more than difficult. There's a boss still up. You can force a level 16 fight on it. Could go for that. Could go for other camps. They can play this slow now. I mean, if they see opportunities, they should go for it, but it would be a mistake to just overreach too hard and allow your opponent to get back into this. So you can play this slow. You have a massive advantage. There's 3 forts that have been taken out. Not a single fort has fallen on the Enjoyer side. Time is working for them. Time is working in their favor. They have a level 16 advantage. They are likely going to lock in an early level 20. Catapults are now spawning and will do work for them. And they can, of course, force fights easily. They go for the boss right now, and if the blue team is willing to battle it out here, then they are already throwing a bit of a Hail Mary. And it seems like that's what they're doing. So they seem to be willing to fight this. The Haka wants to get the tribute first. He's channeling the tribute as we speak. They're very slow on this. The Haka has the tribute. Now they go for Odin, and they're going to commit to the boss at the top. The Haka is moving in. They're trying to isolate Greymane. Everything misses him, though. But the boss is still up. And the blue team, they are really trying to somehow get a lucky punch in. It might happen, but it's a risk that they're taking. Because if they lose this fight now too and lose more heroes here, then it's going to be an absolute disaster. And Malthael, he has his last rights again. So could use it here. Explosion is up. They go for the boss and they claim it with Lucio. Nicely done. Boss is taken. So far so good for the Enjoyers. They haven't won the fight yet, but here comes the kill against Hogger, and Malthael gets himself a 4th stack. 20-second cooldown reduction. Lucio somehow finally gets killed. Finally gets sniped. But they lost Greymane too. And now it's the play for Anduin, and the Crybaby is not going to survive that either. They get Diva. That's 4 heroes down on the blue team side, and a boss pushing through the top lane. And to make matters worse, down at the bottom of the map, the Catapult is likely going to eliminate that keep together with the Siege Giants. So there's way too many attacks happening right now against the Lore Refreshments. The blue team, they are, as I said, falling apart here. Their bottom keep is gone, and at the top side, it's not looking great either. 12 kills to 2. Finally, there's a level 16 talent, but it seems like it's too little too late. And they're even going for a double boss play, which could get them towards the core. Yeah, here they are. Enjoyers trying to go for the next one. Malthael, you guessed it already, he has his ult back up. Of course he does. By the way, they don't even have to attack this. As long as they're keeping them at the bot lane, this is going to take another keep down. Now that the defenders are moving in, they can commit to the boss. This is exactly what they're doing. It's all about playing vision, playing the map. And they're doing this extremely well right now. Those are the plays that they need to execute here. The top keep is gone, and now you can make a move for the boss at the bottom of the map. Odin is already getting used here. They get them low. Malthael is going to work up another stack. The kill against Hogger is already through. 4 stacks for Malthael. Doesn't get number 5, but they get the kills as they're eliminating Blaze. The boss is taken too, and now they're going to go for the core. Odin is still active, and they're using it to wreck not only Greymane, but also Anduin. That leaves only Diva at the bottom of the map. She's on the run and doesn't make it either. It's a 5-man team wipe as we have the victory for the Enjoyers in the best of 5 series. It was a tough battle for them, so kudos to the Lore Refreshments. They really did a great job here, but on the final map, the Enjoyers were just a bit too strong. They take the series with a 3-2 and now move on to face off against Skibidi Exodia in the next round of the tournament. GG.